Hey, freaks and friends. My name is Jessie. My pronouns are they and she. Welcome to the Yoga Vibe 585 YouTube channel. Today, we're going to be working on Ardha Chandrasana, half moon, and some variations of it. So, it's a one leg side plane standing balance. Yeah, we're going to do some chest opening, we're going to do some quad stretching, we're going to play around using a wall. So make sure you have a wall or a door frame or something you can use at a certain point in class. You might also want blankets and blocks. My lovely assistant George is keeping my blanket warm for me until I need it. So we're going to start standing, just some simple stretching. Bring one arm across your body and hold on the outside of it. You can push your arm into your hand to get a little more oomph, and then switch sides. And go ahead, release that. Bring your arms up, interlace your fingers, flip your palms, push your feet down and your palms up. Your shoulders might come up towards your ears, that's totally fine. And then you're going to tip to one side. You could keep your hands like this, or you could release the clasp and just reach over. Maybe even bring your arm down your leg. And switch. So again, you could interlace. You could just go to the other side. You could pause between the two. And then come on up. And bend your elbows out side to side. Try to hug back through the back side of the body as much as you can without just collapsing in the low back and letting everything up front go. Engage through the core on all four sides of your body. See if you can open up through the front of the chest more than like the front of the belly. And then eventually bring your hands back behind you, interlace the fingers or grab a hold of a towel or strap. A little bend in the elbows might help you open the collarbones more. Deep, full breath. From here, you could stay put, or you could hinge at your hips, add a little shoulder rinse. Hands might stay at the low back. They might come up overhead a little bit or a lot of bit if you're not me. And then eventually exhale your hands to the ground. Forward fold. Shake out the back of your head and shoulders. And then if you're not already, which I wasn't, position yourself so that you're facing what you would consider the front edge of your yoga mat. Bend into your right knee and step your left foot all the way back behind you. From here, you could stay like this. You could lower your back knee to the ground, and you can bring your right hand to either your hip, your top of your shoulder, or up into the air. One more deep, full breath. Exhale, hands down around the front leg, step the back foot forward, and switch sides. So all the same options live here, but you live in a different leg on this side. So back knee up or down. Doesn't matter where the hand goes. We're looking for opening in the chest and shoulders. That's going to be a repeat theme today, is getting more open through the collarbones. So find whatever that is for you here. One more breath. Exhale, hands down, step the back foot forward, forward fold. As much space between the feet, as much bend in the knees as you need to get more release in the upper back. On your next inhale, extend out long through your spine. Draw your low belly in. Try to widen the collarbones even here. And then exhale, forward fold. Inhale to extend. Exhale to release. Push down into your feet. Come all the way up to stand. And release your hands down alongside your body in Tadasana. Pause and breathe. Check in. From here, we're going to stand on the left foot. And we're going to bend the right knee and reach back for your ankle or the top of your foot with your hand. If you look at me from the side, I don't want my knee forward and I don't want it back. I want it right in line with my standing leg. Hug your inner thighs together and then push the pinky edge of your right foot into your right hand. See if you can use that to open the right shoulder more. Maybe your left arm goes up or comes to the hip, and then go ahead and release. Second side. So what happens in the body, and we're going to see this in a couple of places today, is that when you go to grab your ankle, there's two ways to do it. Either from behind the sort of midline of the body here, if we're going through this plane, or you bring the knee forward and then back, kind of like was that the sprinkler? The Roger Rabbit? It's one of those. And it's fine. A lot of times, especially when we're tight or we're like learning how to work with our own mobility, bringing the knee forward to get the ankle is fine. But what ends up happening is that we're adding movements in the shoulders and hips that we just don't need to, especially if we know we're focusing on lengthening through this part of the body, through the collarbones, the deltoids, that we're hugging through the lats, through the rhomboids, through everything on the back side of the body. So as you reach back for the second side, notice like I get to a point where I'm like a little stuck. And if I bring my knee in, I can kind of grab my ankle, but I'm going to try not to just collapse forward. I'm going to try to keep opening to find the grip, which is hard. So if you're struggling like I am to like do it and maintain balance, you are doing it correctly. For when you come into this shape on this side, again, keep your thighs lined up, point your bent knee down, and then push the pinky edge of your foot into your hand to widen through the collarbones. Try to keep your hips and shoulders moving towards the front of whatever you're looking at. And then go ahead and release. Shake it out. Nice job. Come back to the front of the mat if you weren't already there. A couple of big full breaths. Inhale, arms lift. Exhale, forward fold. Hinge at your hips. Come all the way down. Bring your hands to the mat and step back to downward facing dog. A little upside down V, hands and feet on the floor, butt in the air pose. Take a second to shake out the back of your head and neck. Maybe you want to bend one knee at a time, get a little wiggle in. And we'll move through a couple of sun salute A's just to warm up the body and connect to ourselves. Feel free to add, subtract, omit completely. If you're following along, inhale, come forward to plank, knees up or down. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, bend your elbows back, lower all the way to the mat. When you get there, release the tops of your feet, roll your shoulders behind your chest, come up into a low cobra, early back bend. Think about, again, widening the collarbones, reaching the top of your head away from your tailbone, and then exhale, release. Tuck your toes, press up and back, downward facing dog, Adho Mukha Svanasana. A couple of deep breaths. And then walk yourself up nice and slow, many steps forward until you eventually get into another forward fold. Excuse me. There we go. From your forward fold, inhale, extend out long through your spine. Exhale, fold back down. Inhale, get some length between your hips and shoulders. Push into your fingertips and feet. And then on your breath out, let it go. Let the shoulders come off the back. Let your head hang. Push into both feet. Come all the way up to stand. Reach your arms as high up in the air as they want to go. And then on your breath out, fold back down. Bring your hands to the mat. Step back, downward facing dog. A couple of breaths there. Starting to build heat in the body, so remind yourself we're doing it on purpose. Deep breath in, come forward to plank. Big breath out, lower everything to the mat. Release your feet, roll your shoulders back. Come up into another shoulder opener, cobra. And then exhale, release. Tuck your toes, press up and back, downward facing dog. And that's enough of that as far as I'm concerned. So we're going to bring our right foot forward, back knee down, and lift up into Anjaneyasana. So here in this version of Anjaneyasana, we are looking to stretch the quads, the front of what is now the back leg. So your options here are just Anjaneyasana, which is a quad stretch. If you're feeling some good stuff, there's no need to complicate it. You could do any arm variation that you want. I might recommend another shoulder opener for where we're going today. You could also, George wants to help. Thank you, George. You could also bend into the back knee and lift the foot and find it with your hand. If you watched me do that, you noticed that I kind of had to do what we talked about standing. I kind of had to close it up. Here, I need a blanket. Thanks, George. I kind of had to close it up to find my foot. So if this concept is interesting for you, it might be worthwhile to first open the shoulder, then bend the knee, and see if you can find the foot with the hand without closing up the front of the body. Just as an exercise in sort of streamlining these actions. You could stay like this. You could bring both hands to the foot. I know that's not happening in my body today, so I'm not going to demo it. And then go ahead and release. Switch sides however you'd like. If you want to flow, healthy selfie. If you want to sit back on your heels or take child's pose for a few breaths, that's a pro move. I have to talk while I practice to make these videos, so I'm going to drink water. Then we'll step the other foot forward. I believe it's the left foot. Again, second side, different situation in the body. So you might want to do something a little differently. You might take more time coming into something or try two things. Or maybe you have to do something different with one leg than the other. Feeling around into how your body can stretch the quads and open the shoulders. And that's it. A couple more deep breaths. And exhale, release. Bring your hands down, step back, downward facing dog. If you haven't already, take a deep breath in, come forward to plank. Exhale, bend the elbows, lower all the way down. When you get to your belly, interlace your hands behind your back. George, get out of here. Sorry. If you're new here, George isn't new here. He just comes with the channel. So with your hands interlaced behind your back, push into the front side of your body. Push into your feet, the tops of your knees, your hips, your low ribs, and see if you can use that to charge up your muscles and reach your head away from your heels. From there, roll the shoulder blades onto the back and start to drag your knuckles towards your feet to lift the head and shoulders more. Whew, deep breath. And then exhale, release. You can let your head come straight down to the floor or turn your head to one side or the other. And then prop yourself up with your right forearm under your chest, parallel to the front of the mat. Bend your left knee. Excuse me, George. We're going to try some of that external rotation here. So make sure you have your right arm somewhere that you feel like you could lift your left arm up. And then open up through the front of your chest. Flex your lifted back knee, your left knee, and then see if you can open your left shoulder so much that you find maybe even the inside of your foot with your hand. Once you get there, hug the knees together, push your foot back, try to get more open through the front of the chest, maybe even melt a little bit. And release. Take your time switching sides. Left forearm parallel to the mat. Right knee bends. Get it set up so that as you open the right shoulder, the foot and the hand get closer. So even if they don't meet, those same actions will do the thing. You just keep doing it. Keep reaching and opening. Try to press down more through both fronts of your hips, through your ribs. Notice the tendency in the body to like roll towards the support elbow side. Get out of here. And then when you're ready, release. Do another back bend here, something symmetrical. So either cobra or a shalambhasana or something different. And then exhale, come back, downward facing dog. Deep breath. Lift your right leg up into the air behind you. Stack your hips. Open the right hip over the left one. And then bend your knee. Let your heel come down towards your butt. Let your head get heavy. Deep breath in. Exhale, draw your right knee in. Step your right foot forward. Spin the back heel down. And lift yourself up. Turn to the side, warrior two. So here in this warrior two, push down into the feet. Try to open up through the front of the chest. As a matter of fact, sometimes in this shape, I like to bring my fingertips to the tops of my shoulders and open up that way, and then let the hands kind of just follow where they go, just to notice what's going on there. Keep your legs where they are. Flip the front palm. Reach your upper body back. Radiant warrior. Push into the front foot, extend your right knee, keep reaching back from the ground all the way out through your fingertips, and then lift the chest, reach your arm forward and out. Bring your right hand to the ground or a block outside of your right foot for triangle pose, Trikonasana. And so for what we're going to do next, definitely make sure that you can push your whole palm into the ground. And if the block is the ground, it is for me right now. Like, yes, I can push my whole palm down, but the first thing that happens in my body is my chest closes. And as we know, we're working on chest open today. So I want to make sure that you have like extra long arms to do that with for this exercise. From here, oh, hi, Franklin. This is Manus. This is Franklin. This is one of our other cats. Okay, so from here, you're going to bring your left hand to your hip. You're going to look down and bend your front knee. Bring your block with you if you've got it. And bring it out in front of your right foot to stand up into half moon, Ardha Chandrasana. So it's like you tipped triangle 90 degrees. And then come back. So bring your block back, step your top foot back. And maybe you noticed, like I did, the stepping forward and back, my shoulders closed, which is fine from a functional perspective. But we're gonna play around with keeping things open as we move forward in our progression in our series today. So from here, maybe you go slower. You're gonna come back up into half moon. See if you can maybe even peek up and keep rolling your top shoulder back. It's hard to do. So that when you lift up, there's none of that closing the body. It's all opening it up on the front side. And then go ahead, bend the front leg to step you back. See if you can keep open to come into triangle. And then exhale, release, step back, move things around, take your vinyasa. So maybe you're flowing, maybe you're pausing, maybe you're just breathing deep. Lift your left leg up, stack your hips, bend your knee, open up through the front side of the body. Take a deep, full breath, and then exhale, draw your knee in, step your left foot up, spin the back heel down, come up into warrior two. I'm going to switch sides so I'm facing the camera. All right. Sit the hips down, open up through the chest and collarbones, however that works for you. Flip the front palm, reach back, radiant warrior, keep bending through the front knee. And then push into the front leg to reach back even further, extend the front knee. And reach up and out, Trikonasana, triangle pose. Again, we want to be able to press all the way down into the ground here. That's probably going to be different than the first side. Maybe you add height, maybe you subtract height. Either way, right hand to the hip, open up through the front of the body. 2 times. We're going to come up into half moon and then back down into triangle. The first time, just go for it. Just step up. Try not to fall forward. And then step back and just notice, what were your tendencies? Because they might be different than the first side. We don't want to compensate for things that aren't even here, right? On the second side, go a little slower, or the second time rather. Try to keep open through your chest, through your collarbones, through the hip. Push down through the hand and the standing leg. So anything on the ground in any yoga pose is the foundation, and we want to root down into it. So right now I've got like my hand is a foot, my foot is a foot, and then come all the way back. See if you can land in a more open triangle pose. And then exhale, release, step back, move things around, take your vinyasa. We're going to meet up on hands and knees. So whenever you're ready to get there, we'll come onto all fours. All right. We're going to step the left foot back behind us, toes tuck under on the mat. Start with a calf and ankle stretch. So you want to push back through the heel and down through the hand so much, maybe even your right knee lifts a little to add some stretch. If you're like, how on earth, you're probably getting enough stretch already. And then we're going to swing the right bent leg back 90 degrees behind us off the mat like a kickstand. Spin your left foot down flat on the floor so your foot points in the same direction as your knee, and open up, lift the left arm. So you're in this sort of modified Parigasana gate pose here. We're going to bring our left hand, our top hand, to our hip. And then from here, you want to make sure that your right wrist is under your right shoulder enough that you feel stacked, that you feel like you have enough space to open the front of your chest, but you're not like collapsing in the shoulder. You've got a nice foundation there too. Keep opening up through the chest, lift the back left leg. Keep opening through the front of the body. Reach your left hand back. Start to bend your right knee. And maybe you find your foot with your hand. But see if you can stay like side planar. So foot is not towards the ceiling. It's like behind you, towards like the back of your head. That's it. And then release slow. Come on down and sit back on your heels. Palms up, chin tucks. Take a few breaths. Takes a lot of awareness to get the backside of the body to play like this. There's a lot more I could probably say about that, but just kind of notice, is it easier to move from the front side of the body, to close it up, to open it, than it is to just lean into the backside? The backside of the body represents the unconscious mind in an esoteric body yoga sense. So just, I don't know, I know that's something that I'm always aware of, is like my front side of my body really wants to like help, quote unquote, when usually it's just getting in the way of actual opening. Something to chew on. So second side, right foot steps back, toes tuck under, push into your hands, push into your ball of your back foot. Maybe you lift up a little to add some stretch, or a lot of stretch. And then back knee, the left knee comes down and swings off to the left. Right foot comes down, right hand comes to the right hip. We'll start by opening the chest. Make sure you've got a nice stack with your left arm. And then lift up through the right leg. Bend the right knee. Start to open back through the right arm. Ooh, yeah, like on this side, I would have to close my shoulder to find my foot, so I'm not going to do it. I'm just going to kind of hang out here and keep reaching those points the direction they're going. Whew. And then come on out slow. It is not any easier or less sensory rich to not have my foot in my hand. In fact, it was a lot harder. Like, I was feeling places that were maybe trying to help too much, or that weren't sure they were the ones being recruited. Again, just an opportunity for like more awareness. So if a lot is showing up, cool. Let's keep going. This next thing we're going to do is going to be against the wall. So we're going to want to block probably, or if you've got like a little chair or an ottoman or something, you could use that too. And we're going to come into half moon with our foot on the wall, is the easiest way to describe it. So what you're going to do, I'm going to cue what I'm doing. I know it might be mirrored for the video, but I'm going to have my right side towards the wall. I'm going to turn my left toes away from the wall 90 degrees, because that's like if I'm coming from warrior two, right? And then I'm going to have a block in my hand. I'm going to place the block where I think it should be, kind of out in front of the foot. And then I'm going to bring my foot on the wall. So I might need to get closer or further away. I think I actually kind of nailed it with that right now. And then you're going to bring your hand on your hip. Oh, you might notice right away, there's a lot of work happening. Now we've got 3 points of contact. So normally in half moon, we're putting all of our weight into the hand and the foot that are on the ground, 2 points of contact. But now we have a third one to help share the load, if you will. And I have a feeling my friends will. But you're going to push so much into your foot in the wall, your foot on the ground, that maybe you notice like, oh, my chest can open a ton. You might even want to lift the top arm. You might want to practice that reach back, but keep the foot on the wall. Keep pushing, pushing, pushing. And then, exhale, release. Bonus, if you want to pause in a standing split with your foot on the wall, that can be nice. And then release. Couple of breaths where you want to take them. We'll come into the pose from standing again. So Take your time getting back upright. Get your block in your right hand. Left side of the body is next to the wall. Right foot turns away. And then right hand comes down on the block, maybe on the ground. I mean, it really depends on the length of your arms, the length of your legs, what it feels like. So don't hesitate to adjust. I didn't mention this on the first side, but if you look at your foot on the wall and your foot on the ground, you'd want them to kind of intersect a little bit probably. You might want to step the wall foot forward a little bit. You can play around with that. And then push all 3 points of contact to open the chest. Whew. Maybe the top arm lifts. Maybe it reaches back. And then exhale, release. Again, maybe you take a detour through a standing split with your foot on the wall. If you do, push way back into that back foot. It should feel good, if that's what your definition of good is. And then release. Come down into a squat. Feet wide. Oh, hips down. You can take that block, put it right under your sit bones if you want. It's my favorite way to squat. Hands together will help you push your knees and elbows together. You don't need to push your hands together to do that, but a lot of people find that that's helpful. Option to make a little kickstand with one arm and use that bujapita, that shoulder pressure, to push your thigh and your arm to open the front of the chest more. And then switch. Whew. And then release. When you're ready, come on out of there. Lift your hips. Lower your head and shoulders. Forward fold. If you want, you could grab your block and bring it under your head. Or you could stack 2 blocks and go under your head. And then come on up. Either up to stand or down dog or child's pose. However you want to shake it out a little bit. So, we are going to come, we're going to come right into Warrior 2. So right leg forward, make sure your block is nearby. Does not matter how you get there. I just stepped in. You could flow in if you want. It's all good. From Warrior 2, flip the front palm, reach back, Radiant Warrior. Extend out through the front leg. Reach forward and out into triangle. Trikonasana. Keep opening the chest and shoulders here. Spoiler alert, we're going to use that. So keep your left hand on your shoulder. Keep your chest open. Bend into the front knee. Come up into half moon. Keep opening the chest and shoulders. Imagine that wall was behind your foot. And then bend the top leg. Open up through the left shoulder. See if you can find your foot with your hand. Again, foot is not going towards the ceiling. It's going behind you. Almost like you wanted to kick the back of your head with your foot. If you've got your foot in your hand, push them into one another to open the chest more. And then exhale, release. Come all the way back. Hands around the front leg. Move things around. Take a flow. Even if your flow is just to like hands and knees, cat and cow, child's pose. And we will meet up in Warrior 2 with the left leg forward. Ta-da! So from here, same, but different because it's a different side. So move at your own pace. I'll still cue it a little. Warrior 2 takes us back into Radiant Warrior. And then we extend out through a reverse triangle here, and come forward into triangle. Keep opening up through the chest. Notice the body, the front side of the body so desperately wants to help, but we're leaning back. We're opening into this unconscious side of the body, this sort of like forgotten support. And then we're coming up into half moon. See if you can keep opening. Push into the lifted leg to get more chest opening. And then bend your knee, reach back. Find maybe your foot with your hand. Again, try to kick behind you. Try to open the chest more. Lean back. And then exhale when you're ready, nice and slow. Release. Come on back down. Bring it around. One last down dog, maybe one last vinyasa. We'll meet up in child's pose. From child's pose, come up to all fours. Bring your right arm up into the air, open the front of the chest, and then thread the needle. Right arm underneath the left one. Right side of the head and shoulder come to the ground. Left hand is some kind of support. Breathe into the twist. Reach your hips back. You could stay right here. You could step the left foot back behind you to get a little more calf and ankle stretch. You could lift the back leg and then start to bend the knee and find the foot with the hand. So here, it's kind of the same shape, but now the foot is towards the ceiling. But it's the same action. Whew. There we go. Nice and slow. Unwind. And take your time. Second side. You might want to shake it out or move it around. You might be already into the second one. It's all good. Eventually you'll lift the left arm and twist. Don't just breeze past the twist if you can help it. Try to stay there and get things set up before you add on. Work with the foundation. Work with what's touching the ground up. Maybe you're lifting the back leg. Maybe you're finding the foot with the hand. Wherever you are, stay as long as you need. Unwind when you're ready. And then come all the way down onto your back. Swing your legs around. Draw your knees in towards your chest. Rock around a little bit. Bring your feet down on the ground. Cross your right ankle over your left leg. A little figure four shape. You could stretch your hips here, or you could bring your knees up towards your chest and hold behind your thigh or in front of your shin. Option to extend the bottom leg if your legs are in the air. Adds a little leg stretch. And then switch sides. Nothing too fancy. I can tell I've gotten a good class because I'm starting to talk silly. Honestly, that's my favorite part about doing YouTube yoga, is I get to do yoga. When I teach to a room full of people, I usually don't practice unless I'm demoing because, I'm watching the people in the room. It's about them, not me. But here, you got to see what I'm talking about, right? So it's a It's a beautiful thing that people want to do yoga together online. For me. Hopefully for you too. When you're done stretching that side, take any twist. So it could be a one knee twist, it could be a both knees twist, propped, casual. You decide. Whichever you pick, make sure it's easygoing, that you're not stressed about it, that you're not doing too much. You're just kind of releasing. And then eventually go the other way. Oh. And then come back through center. Take something symmetrical. So knees in chest, happy baby pose, Supta Baddha Konasana with your knees bent and your feet together. That's what I'm going to do. And we'll set up when you're ready for Shavasana, our final relaxation pose for the day. If you want to stay in a shape for Shavasana, something restorative, something supportive, I always recommend putting something under the back of your head so that your chin tucks a little bit. A, it's comfortable. B, the chin gently tucking activates the parasympathetic nervous system, the rest and digest arm of our autonomic nervous system. When we rest, we want that to happen. So when we tuck the chin ever so slightly and gently, it signals to the body that it's time to rest. Go ahead and get whatever props, whatever position you need. A couple of deep breaths in and out. And we'll rest for just a little while. And take a deeper breath in. And a longer breath all the way out. A couple more. And you decide if you're ready to get up, you're home. You don't have to do anything if you don't want to or have to. But if you're ready to get off the ground, just take a moment to move however you need to. Maybe coming out of the position you're in or hugging in close. It might feel good to stretch out long. And it might feel grounding to come onto one side for a breath or two. Ugh. Hmm. Eventually, use your hands to press up to seated. Oh, I got me, gals. I got me. uh, do whatever you want seated. Your hands could be in your lap. They could be over or in front of your heart. They could just be down alongside you. According to the style of yoga and the philosophy that it's derived from, that I was trained in and that I practice and study, um, all awareness is good. That conscious awareness is like um, the kind of the point of the universe, of existence, of embodiment. So taking moments on the mat to expand our awareness, to notice how we're moving, to try something a little different is always a good idea. It always offers just a little more of whatever you've got. Even if the awareness is that you don't need more. Where you are is plenty. And so just take a moment to acknowledge how much work goes into that and that you've done enough. And when we accept and acknowledge that part of our practice, I think there's always room for more practice. When we feel like we never get enough, I mean, that just kind of says how that feels, right? And thank you all so much for sharing virtual space today. Hail yourself, friends. I'll see you soon. Bye.